A massive show of Chinese military might this week during a parade in Beijing tops the week in review. The event commemorated the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II and illustrated Chinese President Xi Jinping's determination to build a world-class army to rival the United States. Troops marched in lockstep by the viewing stand as President Xi showed off both the manpower and military hardware he said illustrates the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. The grand parade was for both domestic consumption as well as international. Foreign leaders from about 24 countries seeking strong relationships with China attended, including guests of honor Vladimir Putin of Russia and, making a rare foreign trip, Kim Jong-un of North Korea. During the spectacle, much of the weaponry and equipment was being put on public display for the first time, including land, sea, and air-based strategic weapons, the so-called nuclear triad. Military experts say at least 11 new weapon systems were revealed, including advanced precision equipment and drones. An American national security analyst says the Chinese don't do military parades very often, but when they do, they, quote, don't mess around.
Having this group of other leaders, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, the president of Iran, all there, reinforced China's role as the centerpiece of a new coalition that is basically there to challenge the West. And his message was, this is what we challenge it with.
Among the nuclear triad weapons unveiled at the V-Day military parade was China's new liquid-fueled intercontinental strategic missile. The land-based nuclear missile has a global strike range. Experts say China's nuclear arsenal has grown faster than that of any other country, expanding by approximately 100 warheads per year since 2023. Joining us now to discuss what we saw this week in China is attorney, author, and foreign policy expert Gordon Chang. He is a senior fellow at the Gatestone Institute. Thank you for joining us. Gordon, what should the United States and the West make of this show of Chinese military might in the V-Day parade in Beijing? With China's unveiling of so many new advanced weapon systems, can America still rightfully claim global military supremacy?
Well, we don't know whether these weapons are operational or whether they've been deployed or whether they even exist. So there's a lot there to ponder. But the one thing, Kat, that we have seen is over the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been this almost unprecedented campaign on the part of China to show its weapons to us. And that reminds me of the ancient Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu, who said, when weak, appear strong. So I think that they are trying too hard. Now, that's not to say China doesn't have a capable military, or at least it doesn't. We can't say that they don't have great weapons, because we know that they do. But the point is, I think they're protesting too much.
President Xi said the theme of the parade was to affirm China's commitment to peace and the armed forces' determination to safeguard it. Should potential international foes like Taiwan and the U.S. consider this a show of peace, or is this a potential threat of war?
Xi Jinping talks about going to war all the time, at least when he thinks we're not listening. So we can take the discussion of peace sort of off the table. We know that they are not only talking about it, but they're also engaged in the fastest military buildup since the Second World War. They're stockpiling grain and other commodities. They are mobilizing their civilians for war. They are trying to sanction-proof the regime. So this really is, I think, a society that is mobilizing not only the military, but also civilians to go into battle. And that means we've got to be concerned.
Absolutely. And Gordon, look at the lineup of guests China invited to witness this parade. The country's many Washington leaders have called the axis of evil China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. It was quite a sight to watch President Xi, Vladimir Putin, and Kim Jong-un all together. Are we seeing the making of a new world order and the decline of the Western alliance?
Well, we certainly are seeing a split in the post-Cold War world. And there is whatever, people call it the CRINCS, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. Some people say axis of upheaval. Whatever we want to call it, they are forming more durable relationships. But this has been going on for quite some time. And we've got to remember that the main players, the four of them, are actually weak states. So I think that we have to make sure that we understand that our democracies are strong and we should not be intimidated, because the Chinese are trying to use intimidation to get us to back down and not to defend our friends and allies.
Xi, Putin, and Kim are seen among the world's most powerful autocrats. Xi and Kim are both supporting Russia in its war of aggression against Ukraine. China is helping to finance the war by buying Russian oil. North Korea is sending troops to help man the front lines. Gordon, can the U.S. do anything to break up this trio of dictators and to help Ukraine reach an acceptable agreement to end the war?
We can tighten the sanctions, and more important, we can enforce them. We can cut off most of the flows of money to Russia. And we have no money, there's no war. So this is really up to us. Now, of course, we can supply more weapons to Ukraine. We can do things like that. But really, I see this as a financial battle. And we have not been waging it with the determination and vigor that is necessary, because we can end this war in months.
Asked this week about the big military parade and President Xi's bilateral meetings with the leaders of so many countries currying favor with China, President Trump acknowledged it was an impressive parade, but he did seem to shrug off concerns, saying China still needs the U.S. more than any other countries. What does he mean by that?
Well, China right now is more export dependent than it has been in the communist period. And the U.S. accounts for something like 35% of global consumer spending. So China absolutely needs the United States. And its economy will fail if it doesn't have access to the U.S. market. So yes, President Trump holds the high cards. China has some cards too. So for instance, rare earths and magnets, as we know about, pharmaceuticals. But the U.S. has far more. Ultimately, we're the bigger economy, and also we are a trade deficit country. And in trade wars, trade surplus countries are the ones that get the worst of it. And we should know that, because during the 1930s, during a trade war, we were the trade surplus country, and during the Great Depression, we were hurt more than any other country. If we were going to actually use and play the cards we have, I think China has to back down.
Gordon Chang, thank you so much for your expertise and insight. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Kat.